Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. One of the most popular and respected chart analysts in all of crypto says that the price jumps that we've been experiencing thus far, while fun, certainly, we've been enjoying the last few months on the whole, right? While that's been fantastic, those price jumps are about to get way more aggressive. And he notes that his crypto thesis, which he frankly started talking about almost 4 years ago at this point, it's playing out right now. And so he is of the mindset, and we'll see if he's right or wrong, because not everybody agrees, but he is of the mindset that what we're seeing play out right now is a super cycle, and he's calling for new all-time high for Bitcoin in short order, which is interesting because like there are a couple of my very favorite analysts in particular that I think are almost always correct. When they have perspectives about what's most probable, they're generally right, but they could not disagree more on a key idea of whether or not we're actually going to see a new all-time high for Bitcoin this cycle in 2024. And it's just fascinating. And so that's why I'll highlight the ideas, and we'll just see who's right and who's wrong as time plays out here. Nobody knows for sure. But interesting discussion nonetheless. Before going further, though, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. As I record this video, XRP is just a little shy of 64 cents. Bitcoin at $43,440. So, market has been moving up for much of the last 24 hours. You've got the Crypto Fear and Greed Index at 73 out of 100, and the market cap for the asset class is back over $1.7 trillion. So who is this analyst that I was referencing? It would be none other than Credible Crypto. And last night, he shared a couple posts on social media platform X that I found to be very interesting. And he is one of my favorite analysts out there. So referencing, in my intro here, some of what he was getting at, it's fascinating because he is one of the few where if you go back a year ago, he was super bullish. He's like, guys, this is pretty much the bottom. He was saying stuff like along those lines back in like November of last year. And that was not a popular thing to say back then. That's when you had all the normies out there, or even if not normies, just the typical retail speculators in crypto, saying no, this thing's gonna keep cratering down. The 12,000 Bitcoin, those types of people. Credible Crypto was like he could not have been more convinced that those people were wrong, and he was right that they were wrong because now we're a year later. Look at where Bitcoin is, and the whole market's been moving up. But one of the things he did call for was a new all-time high for Bitcoin in 2023. Now, technically, there's still time, but it's not looking very probable at this particular moment. Right, we're at the tail end of the year. Is that actually going to happen? And I have said before, nothing but love for Credible Crypto, but anytime any analyst shares a prediction and it's based on a very specific timeline, I get nervous for that analyst. Because even if their ideas are right, and the chart formation that they see is actually playing out, the timeline for any portion of such a play out can go a little faster here or there, a little bit slower. And so making time predictions notoriously dangerous, but he did it, and so I admire it. He put his neck on the line. Doesn't look like it's likely to happen. That in and of itself doesn't necessarily mean that he's wrong, but he's. I won't be surprised if a bunch of people give him crap because it is like one of the bigger predictions you could make. Now, as far as does this make me think that he's not worth? His penny's not worth anything? No, my perspective of Credible Crypto has not changed on this. And he defended himself on this point, and I think fairly enough. Here's what he had to say. I shared my higher time frame macro thesis 3 to 4 years ago. At the time, I was expecting this cycle to top sometime after 2023. As price action developed, that timeline got adjusted, but we have ended up right around the expected window. And as we make new highs and top in the coming months, this will only further be confirmed. I think a few months is an acceptable margin of error for a thesis that was first shared 4 years ago. LOL. And my opinion is fair enough, honestly. Fair enough. If we don't see a new all-time high for Bitcoin, but he is right that it's coming this market cycle, and it comes a month or 2 or 3 later, whatever it ends up being, my attitude would be, okay, close enough. Because he's not shifting what he's saying he sees in the charts. That has been on point for basically about 4 years at this point. So he's not shifting that. It's just the specific timeline for when Bitcoin would hit it could be slightly off. That's his opinion. So again, we'll come to see if it passes. And then, of course, on the flip side, you have the blockchain backer, another one of my very favorite analysts out there. Like the correct hits for both of these people, truly impressive, but they disagree. From what I've seen from the blockchain backer, he is not currently convinced that that a Bitcoin new all-time high is going to be coming. And that actually makes I hope he's not right. I'm sure he hopes he's not right. But that would make me a little bit nervous, because if we don't see Bitcoin hitting a new all-time high, I have no reason to think that XRP will hit a new all-time high. So even if all sorts of coins are popping off, why should I think that XRP is going to do it? That would be unfortunate. So I'm hoping that does not come to pass here. But we're going to see. We're going to go through this together and see who's right. And there was a separate post, and this kind of expands upon what Credible Crypto was saying here, and he wrote the following. This is all from last night. As we approach the end of the year, it feels like a good time to retweet my macro thesis below, which I still expect to play out. At the time when I originally shared this, we were trading at $30,300. And I'll pause to note that he's talking about a post from this year, which he shared on July 1st. Anyway, he continues. Time-wise, I was expecting an earlier breakout, but we ended up consolidating longer than expected in the $25,000 region, which, as a result, has pushed the timeline back a bit. Not by much, still fully expect new all-time high on Bitcoin in Q1 of 2024. Price invalidation levels, which are more concrete and not as flexible as time, were never hit as we climbed up, maintaining bullish market structure throughout our rise. In any case, it's clear that our next major leg up, and the final impulsive leg of this cycle, which started in 2018 at $3,000 Bitcoin, has begun. And for those who are still in denial, it will be even more clear and undeniable in a month or two, in my opinion. In the coming months, I expect further continuation upwards at a more aggressive pace than we have seen thus far, as we build up to what will be a blow-off top for the books to conclude this multi-year cycle. As per my full thesis below, I expect Bitcoin to break $100,000 plus by the end of this parabolic run, top sometime around mid-2024, and for us to be well within the first major secular Bitcoin bear market by 2025, catching most off guard. So there it is. It's all out there. And so I've listened to the perspective from Credible Crypto and Blockchain Backer, and of course many others, but these two people in particular, because they're at the top of my list of favorite analysts. There are all sorts of other great analysts, so it's not to poo-poo the other analysts out there, but it's just so fascinating because I've been tracking both of them for years, and they both have such an incredible hit rate, and they disagree on something that is crucial to all of us. So that's why I'm highlighting this. It's fascinating. And again, like I said, you know, XRP is my largest individual crypto holding. It's never hit a new all-time high without Bitcoin doing so first. So the blockchain backer certainly could be correct. I don't pretend to know if Credible Crypto's right, or the blockchain backer, or some sort of wild card event happens and it's something a little bit different than what they're both saying. Who knows? But I hope that Credible Crypto is correct rather than the blockchain backer. I certainly hope that, because I do not have confidence XRP is going to hit a new all-time high otherwise. So I'm not going to go there. I'm not trying to be too negative right now. Those are just my honest thoughts. But I'm optimistic for the future. We'll just see what happens. I think we're going to have a really exciting 2024, especially in the first half of the year. I mean, and by the way, that's something that the blockchain backer agrees upon too, because I know there's a lot of crossover between his audience and my audience. So I'm sure a lot of you are well aware of his perspectives. And if you want his breakdown and technical analysis, he does an absolute killer job on a daily basis. So check it out. But he does believe that we're going to be likely seeing some serious fireworks over the next several months or so. So on that point, they agree on that part. So that's good. So we're going to have some fun for sure. It's just kind of a question of to what degree. There was also this. I wanted to note this because look, whatever you think of Michael Saylor, the founder of Microstrategy, publicly traded company that keeps buying a ton of Bitcoin, whatever you think of him, and he is a maximalist, and I think that's completely ridiculous. I admire the conviction that he has. He just keeps buying Bitcoin. Price goes up, he buys. Price goes down, he buys. Whatever. He just keeps buying. And so here you can see the headline from CoinDesk. MicroStrategy buys $615 million worth additional Bitcoin, pushing holdings to $5.9 billion. And so it's just, it takes conviction. And sometimes conviction can be ill-placed. Like, for instance, I have insanely high conviction that XRP at some unknown point in the future will hit a new all-time high in enterprise discovery. I could not be more convinced that that's the most probable outcome. I could be wrong though, and I admit that. Like I'm adult enough to acknowledge, despite my conviction, I could be wrong. But I will also say that having strong conviction and following through and not making emotional decisions is a requirement, not a suggestion, when it comes to investing, in particular in crypto, which is inherently incredibly volatile, right? So the fact that I have that kind of mindset when it comes to my XRP, like I've never sold a single XRP in my entire life. I'm going to. I intend to anyway. I just have to be enticed to do so. But the fact that I've taken, in some ways, a very similar mindset of, I believe this thing's going to blow. I've stocked up. It's my largest individual holding by a lot, and I'm just going to sit there and do nothing. Fairly similarly, Michael Saylor's doing this with Bitcoin. And so from an investment, like a strategy perspective, this is the type of strategy that makes sense to me. You buy stuff, and then you do nothing. That's pretty much it. Anyway, piece reads as follows. Microstrategy, the largest corporate holder of Bitcoin, added more to its holdings on Wednesday, buying 14,620 Bitcoin for around $615.7 million. The company's executive chairman, Michael Saylor, tweeted that MicroStrategy bought the Bitcoin at an average price of $42,110 per Bitcoin. The recent purchase pushes the company's holdings to 189,150 Bitcoin, worth around $5.9 billion, which was bought at an average price of $31,168 per Bitcoin. Now, folks, this is like, there's a lesson in this. This is why I wanted to highlight this. I'm not excited about Bitcoin, really. I hold it. I'm pro Bitcoin. I'm just not excited about it. But I want to highlight this because I'm telling you, for most of the last few years, there's been no shortage of people trolling Michael Saylor because he's put all this money into Bitcoin, and it's been down. He's down by to the tune of what I can't remember what it was at its worst, how many billions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars, whatever it was. Maybe it was over a billion. I can't remember. The point is, MicroStrategy was down substantially, still continued to purchase, and despite getting ripped on, here we are. Now they're substantially in profit. Well, how about that? Who saw that coming? Well, I think the same thing's going to unfold with XRP. And so it's a fun time to be in crypto. Now, as far as the ETF stuff, though, I did want to briefly talk about this. I'll just read what I shared on social media platform X this morning. And it was interesting because there's an article covering this. A well-known figure in crypto is thinking the same thing that I'm thinking in terms of this is a sell the news event. So here's what I wrote. My bet is a bunch of Bitcoin ETF applicants will all get approved at the same time, and that it will be a sell the news event, even if there is a bit of a price pump at first. Happy to be wrong, but that's my bet just for fun. And there's some people that responded that think the same as me, and there's some people that responded to me and think that I'm wrong, and that's fine. Civil discourse is awesome. I don't get offended by people having different opinions than mine, and I could be wrong. I mean, maybe it's not a sell the news event, but I feel fairly strongly that it's going to be. Meaning, so yes, it could go up in price. You could see a huge rocket in price that maybe isn't sustained, and then a correction to the downside. And as people start taking profit when this happens, that would not surprise me in the least. Because the news doesn't mean that at the snap of a finger that there's all this increased actual demand on this in terms of purchasing the actual ETF, which is backed by actual Bitcoin. That will take time, and then people are going to need to convince their clients and let them know that the product's available. The whole 9 yards. We talked about that before. So it's still going to be exciting. It'll be interesting. I won't be surprised if it is a sell the news event. And, that's not what you see in most of the headlines. Like the narrative that is really proliferated, which, if you've been in crypto for more than 5 minutes, you might be aware of this. Maybe it won't surprise you. It's that this is going to be an instant that Bitcoin, it's just a major catalyst, and Bitcoin's just going to take off from there. That's it. So good luck if you get in even a day before this thing, because once that news breaks, that's it. Well, I don't see any historic precedent that would make it reasonable to believe that, but that's the narrative. And, there's always stupid-ass narratives in the world of crypto, and retail believes stuff that's wrong all the damn time. So it was interesting to see this headline, which I think is in line with reality. ARK's Cathie Wood sees short-term effect of spot Bitcoin ETF as sell on news. So it's not surprised that Cointelegraph will cover this because Cathie Wood is well known. I'm just telling you that it doesn't seem to me that this is a popular opinion. I think she's right, and I have the same opinion. And I still think it's going to be very positive. Like if you fast forward a number of years and decades out, I think these products are going to be very successful. And I think that's going to have a very serious impact on the supply and demand dynamics for Bitcoin. It's going to be very positive, which means great for the entire ecosystem, entire crypto ecosystem. But from the get-go, we'll probably see an exciting burst. It'll be a fun day, and then we'll see how quickly things tank to the downside. That's my expectation here. But here's a quote from her. Those who have been moving in and enjoying some nice profits will probably sell on the news. That's an expression that traders use, so you anticipate the event, beat up the price, and then sell on the news. End quote. Yep, that sounds about right to me. So, but even if that happens, that doesn't mean that everything's cratering down forever and going to zero. I certainly do buy into the idea that we're going to have a lot of fun in 2024, and I am optimistic. And Bitcoin better hit a new all-time high, damn it. Because we need that. Otherwise, we're going to be waiting who knows how long for XRP to hit a new all-time high. And you know, we could still see fireworks with XRP even if Bitcoin doesn't, but new all-time high, I'm skeptical of that. Because we have seen when Bitcoin runs, XRP, can have some major moves, but it's just like to what degree? So we'll see here, but I don't know. Look, folks, I've never been this excited as an XRP holder. I've never been this excited being in crypto because unless we're all supremely disappointed and the fireworks actually aren't going to come in 2024, which I find to be unlikely, unless that happens, I personally am finally going to unload my crypto by the boatload. That's what I'm hoping to do, and we'll see what happens as time passes. But yeah, as long as things really are as bullish as some people are anticipating, yup. Which I'm ready for. I mean, I've been at this over 6 years. I've never cashed out into United States dollars. It would be nice to finally do that, but I've been building a thing for that whole time and not worrying about the cycles in between, because this will be my third full bull market should we get it. So we'll just see what it looks like, but I am very optimistic. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.